Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. This is Maro, welcome to my channel. So today I have a Mainz replay. I got Mainz a few weeks ago. I just wanted some HE fast-paced spamming ship to, play some games and feel what others feel when I'm playing a battleship and you just have a hail and wall of HE coming at you. So I got mine. I didn't really read too many reviews about it. I think there are some on YouTube and on the forum as well by the Little White Mouse. She does great reviews. So if you haven't checked it, I suggest you do. So I didn't read it, or if I did, I kind of didn't pay as much attention. So I went, got Mainz, and started playing. I like the fact that it has 12 guns. They're 150 millimeter, but 12 of them every 6 seconds. That's a lot of firepower. And my plan was really to do what I did with the Russian cruisers, Chapayev, maybe not that so much Donskoy, but Shores as well. Identify the target, keep at distance, kite, and just spam HE. And this ship can do that to a certain extent. I think the issue that comes up, unfortunately, is this is a big ship. It's a slower ship. It's harder to maneuver ship, and it's not as easy, or you don't have the same agility to be able to dodge shots. Now, I go into the open water all the time with her, and I engage in long distance HE spam, and I try to dodge as best as I can, and for the most part, it goes fine. Obviously, if you're on a flank where there are way too many battleships shooting at you, it's not going to go smoothly, and sometimes you just have to disengage and try to reposition. Now, another thing that the ship doesn't have going for her is speed. The speed, the most that you can get is maybe 32 knots, and that's just not fast enough. So you have the low agility, you have the turning that's not the best because of the big hull, and it's not exactly what I wanted. I guess what I was looking for was if I could get the Russian tier 8 maybe cruiser's agility, the Ochakov, and if I could get these guns on it instead of 8, then I think it would be a perfect combination. As it is now, you get a little more life. You have 42,500. You don't get any heals. You are not able to dodge as effectively as maybe with some smaller, nimbler ships. You're not as fast, but you do have range and you have good guns. So I've played some games, maybe I played 20 or 30 games, and I think this is the recent game I played, and I enjoyed it. Now, in general, I do okay with this ship. I think in this game in particular, sometimes you just have that set of circumstances when things start to kind of maybe work your way and come together, right? Here, I've spent basically most of the game, no, the entirety of the game at the sea cap. And there's a lot of action going. We have quite a few ships. It's a CV game, although the CV didn't really bother to send planes in this direction. So most of the time spent the game without CV planes. But you have battleships, you have cruisers, you have destroyers. Now, battleships from long distance are a preferred target here because maybe they don't move as much, so you're able to land your shots, because they are not particularly fast. So it does take some time for them to make it over. And which is kind of surprising because, the speed is 960 meters, like for HE and AP, which is plenty fast. But maybe it has more to do with my ability to target than with the shell velocity. But shooting maneuvering cruisers from 15 or 16 kilometers, not an easy task. Battleships, bigger targets, slower to move, easier to land shots on. And I guess that always holds true regardless of how skilled you are. But they're the preferred target. So here, I hang back, as you can see. I mean, you see where our CV is, and I'm pretty much the last ship. And I'm trying to shoot targets at 15, 16 kilometers. Trying to use islands for cover, where the shell arcs can go over it and hit targets. Typically, US battleships with their thin protection on the deck are perfect targets because 38 millimeters is the pen value of the HE shell. Because it's German, I think it's 4 times the 150 millimeter value. And US battleships, pretty much, I think it's 38 millimeters, so perfect. Cruisers, obviously, they work well, obviously, but when they're maneuvering and when, the player knows how to engage in this slowish kind of a maneuver dance that basically makes you miss a lot of shells before you can land it on them, it's not so easy to connect. Here I do, but spend some time on that ship. Now here again, this is the ideal scenario. You have a US battleship that has stopped at the limit of my range effectively, and is not really targeting me. And this allows me to stop, get all my guns on it, and just keep shooting. Now here I keep moving, which is somewhat of a mistake because the range is 17.5 kilometers. So by moving and trying to make sure that, in case I'm selected as a target, I've been positioned to dodge, I really went outside my range. Now, North Carolina here is disengaging, it's turning back, and we're all pretty far from her, so we almost lost the vision. So I decided, okay, it's time to try to get a little closer. We have a lot of ships here and just 2 ships on this flank, so if anything, we should have been able to kind of break through here a long time ago. Our western flank is really in withdrawal. It's 2 ships. I think they have, 4 ships there. However, their carrier has been eliminated. Our DD is hanging on that flank. So I think it's turned the situation to our advantage. But in terms of caps, it's still 1-1. And it looks like we have the edge, but perhaps too early to tell. In any case, I take the ship. And you can see here, I'm turning, its speed is 26 knots. You lose speeds, trying to kind of keep myself somewhat angled, trying to get my guns onto the target. I think the firing angles are not the best either. It's not that you can just, position yourself 25 and 30 degrees and keep firing. Now the shells, when they connect, they carry some weight. And here Mayoko is coming down. I activate my Hydra, but didn't really think that she had enough time to fire her torps and for the torps to reach all the way to me. But in any case, better be safe than sorry. Here, I think I was perhaps somewhat a little more conservative before Mayoko turned. Could probably employ the AP, but because HE is pretty hard hitting, I decided to stick with it. Although if you look at the values at the HE shell and the AP shell, HE shell is 1700, AP shell is 3900. So you would think for the targets that are broadside to you, AP would be perfect because it does a lot more damage. That's a pretty big difference. In any case, the build that I have here is kind of centered really around long distance and HE and fire starting. But you know, you look at damage, I have what, 68, 70,000, 170 hits. And I have started, this is the first fire that I have started in this game. Sometimes the RNG just doesn't go your way, or the ships are in different stages of perhaps using the DCP. And as a result, you're unable to start the fire. Because I didn't really want to add, I didn't want to add the ability to, you know, increase the penetration of my shells by another, what is it, for the tier 8, 25%. I just felt 38 is high enough and focus on fires, but sometimes that just doesn't necessarily work the way you would like it. So here it's a lot of shells, only one fire so far started. So in terms of battle, the only ship that's left on this flank is the enemy North Carolina. The rest of the enemy ships are coming to our cap. They have 2 caps to our 1. However, our destroyer is already working on turning A to us. And given that the most ships that are left are 3 battleships and a Alaska cruiser, they don't really necessarily have as much pace and ability to chase the destroyer. So I think they're all headed towards us. I see the North Carolina north of me. Actually, I guess on the map, if you look at it, it's south of me. But hidden behind the island is I cannot engage. I'm really counting either on the other cruiser or the carrier to be able to take the North Carolina out. So I decide to stay in the central area. I see the Tirpitz is leading the charge and finding this island here, trying to stay in hiding, concealment, and you know, just rain my HE wall of fire. And not perfect position because I'm a little close to that island, so I'm trying to reverse and get myself well suited, but I'm not spotted. The North Carolina south of me has been eliminated. Nobody's paying attention to me, and the battleship is just going straight at me, which is perfect for targeting her. So the rest of the game, well, for the majority of the rest of the game, this was almost the reason I got the ship in the first place, to be able to do this. So now I think the fire RNG kind of turns my way and smiles in my direction, so I'm able to start a few more fires. And it's my team is trying to engage them. I guess I just got the Confederate, and that was so strange during the replay. I just saw something pop up and then it was gone. And I didn't really have, I guess, as much time to look at the chat. In any case, the Tirpitz is trying to kind of avoid the fire that's coming at her. They just took out one of our teammates, and I thought that, you know, this is not going to be good because I've spent a lot of time shooting at these Tirpitz, and, you know, a lot of them were, you know, non-pen hits that didn't lead to anything, or there was no fire that was started. However, in the end, we were able to take the Tirpitz out. And then as that happens, the next thing that happens is Nagato comes down this way again. So I'm still in concealment. I'm still safe, and I'm just able to rain these HE shells on Nagato for as long as she's there. And I just couldn't believe it that the ships just kept coming. All I needed to do is just stay there and just shoot. And, you know, that really rarely happens, that to me at least. And, you know, you could say, well, that's a great positioning and it was good planning, but really wasn't. I just happened to be there when the first ships showed up and they headed in this direction, and I decided to stay. I guess the only decision I made was, I'm not gonna chase this North Carolina, I'm gonna stay here and wait for these ships. And it turned out to have worked because the CV was able to take the North Carolina, and in the meantime, just stay here and rain fire. And now the two remaining ships from the red team are the Nelson and Alaska. Alaska further to the north of us, and Nelson making her way from the west side. Now I'm trying to be careful with Alaska here. I don't want to, because my firing angles are not so great. I can't necessarily get all my guns on Alaska and still protect myself from Alaska's AP, which I think has the enhanced angles, so it can really do a lot of damage to me. So I finally decide to abandon my great spot, go a little further south, and look for another set of islands where I can just stop and fire away. So it's 2 versus 4 ships. We have the caps. I mean, for us to lose this game at this point, it would take an epic effort, and I did not want to really give away the game. I'm looking at where the CV is. I guess it's covered by the island, so close, able to recycle and keep sending the planes. The Alaska, where she is, she's taking really good cover of these islands. I'm not able to really engage as much as I would want to. But then instead of going east, she turns west, which brings her right in my line of fire. And with my shells, I'm able to, you know, land quite a few of them and also do a lot of damage to Alaska. And again, it's a perfect position. I am concealed, so Alaska can't even see me, and I'm just able to keep sending shells downrange. And you know, I mean, by now I have what, 9 fires started and 158,000 in damage. I mean, just a few minutes ago it was 1 fire and whatever, 70,000 of damage. But the ships that all decided to come to this cap, and in a perfect way for where I was, presented the perfect shooting opportunity. It was really like, you know, shooting fish in a barrel. I mean, I don't know, it doesn't happen that often to me that things are just perfect, that you can just do as much damage as you want and you're not in any danger whatsoever. So in the end, the game ends. Obviously, we do win. It was a good game for me in terms of awards, I guess, but also in terms of points. It's just under 2,500 points, which doesn't happen that often for me. 177,000 in damage, and obviously the experience, Commander XP, and credits as well. So it was a good game. I hope you enjoyed it. I've been playing Mainz for a while. I've had some solid games, but not really a game like this where things just head my way. It is a premium ship, you know. It's maybe not everything I was hoping for when I bought her, but it's been fun to play, and I've had some good success in her. So in case this is something that you're interested in, that you've played the Russian cruisers and you like the playstyle, especially maybe tier 7 and 8 more than 9 and 10. I guess the Nevsky now is really kind of a, you can play it in this style, and it's a more powerful ship, obviously, then perhaps Mainz is not a bad thing to check out and add to your port. Well, and with this, I wish you the great rest of the day. Hope you stay well, and this is all for me. Maro out.